Today's service is dedicated to the healing power of fire, which can be a catalyst and a helpful part of nature, like Christine just shared with us. However, the events of last week have also shown us how devastating fire can be, and I know we're all with heavy hearts thinking about the lives lost and the tragedy this recent week due to fire in Los Angeles. So I'd like to invite us all now to assume a position of reverence for a time of prayer. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Holy Spirit that goes by many names, be with us now and heed our prayer. God of wind and fire, we are so sorry for the ways that our human lives are out of balance and have contributed to the mass destruction that fire has caused this week. God of water and earth, we beg of your mercy for the ways that our species has neglected or harmed the balance of nature's forces. We long to be in balance, yet we are not there, yet we do not know how to get there. We know we are out of balance, yet we have a long way to go to return to the balance that we seek. Spirits of earth, wind, fire, and air, please help guide us, assist us in finding this balance. Guide our hearts, our minds, and our bodies. We are open to listening. We are open to learning. We are open to growing and evolving and transforming. Great Holy Spirit of compassion and mercy, please be with all those who are suffering from the recent fires in LA, especially the most vulnerable among them. We know that natural disasters are even more dangerous for the elderly, for the sick, for the disabled, for the marginalized among us. Great Spirit of love, guide us to help one another, especially the most vulnerable. Guide us, help us find balance among our human community so that we might sow the serotinous seeds amongst us that will lead to beautiful flourishing and recovery. Amen and blessed be. Thank you for joining me in that prayer. And now I have a little announcement. So we're actually not going to be following along in your order of service and hearing the anthem People of Hope by Daryl Loyacano today. We will be hearing that in the future. But this morning we are letting Luna preserve her voice because it's a little tired from having a little bit of a cold. So I look very forward to having her share this with our congregation when she feels better. And actually, our choir will be singing it as well, and we will be learning the words together as a congregation too. Just a little bit of a brief story about that song is that I learned to sing it as a choir member the year that it won a sermon contest through the Association of UU Music Ministries in 2016. And it was really a buoy and a balm for me and for our congregation that year as we moved from 2016 to 2017. Um, it just speaks to how music is a gift, especially in difficult times. And I also want to lift up that later in the service, our closing hymn will be another favorite of mine and is tied into the theme of this service, The Fire of Commitment, written by Mary Catherine Moore and set to music by composer Jason Shelton. I invite you to meditate now on the chorus of that hymn. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. These words have such a universal message, and they have long been inspiring to me. I often think about them in relationship to my own call of ministry. I really wanted to hear those words when I was ordained as a minister. And I was surprised to actually discover, because they are so universal, that they were written for a specific congregation. They were written for the UU Church of Nashville on its 50th anniversary. And I offer them here for us today on Stewardship Sunday, in part because of that. I think that complements the message in the spirit of our upcoming pledge drive, the theme of which, as you've heard, is today's commitment, tomorrow's community. These words, while they're universal, can speak to us as individuals or as an individual congregation as well. And I can't think of a better theme song to support that message of today's commitment, tomorrow's community than the fire of commitment. So, as you know, we're exploring in today's service the spiritual meaning of fire. Literal uses of fire have made their way into spiritual symbolism in an interesting way, serving metaphorically to imply both external guidance outside of us and internal readiness. The lights that guide us along our journey, the stars in the sky, but also that inner flame that what ignites our inner engine, what keeps us moving. And that was really interesting to me as I reflected on the symbolism of fire, both the inner and the outer flames or lights that guide. So, one common image of a guiding fire that I've been thinking about lately is a pretty common one is a lighthouse. Lighthouses on the shore cast a welcoming beacon to help seafarers navigate through storms. And they work by shining a very powerful light source out through a Fresnel lens, which is glass that's made up of multiple prisms. And it's actually kind of amazing when you think about all of these prisms that both magnify and direct that light's beam. And as I got to thinking about it, I thought, friends, our UU community is like this. When we harness the light of love and the spirit of collective care within the layered prism of our diverse community, we can amplify it, make it brighter, and direct it, guiding our way forward through life's most difficult storms with our values and the integrity and power of our dedicated intentions. So, we're going to move towards a chalice blessing later. So I'm just going to layer over that of course, fire means something to us as UUs and our UU faith tradition because we have come to relate to the chalice as a light that guides and inspires us. And for the last 30 years, since the late 1990s, we've been ritually lighting chalices at the start of each service and using them in our faith community. I know I preached about this a few months ago. It always gets me that this isn't something from ancient days that we just inherited from some earth-based tradition a long time ago. But actually, just as a reminder, many are surprised to learn that the flaming chalice symbol is less than 100 years old. And we started off with the symbol, and then we were so inspired by that symbol that we actually brought it to life, brought it into action. So just as a very brief reminder, so that I don't go all the way back into the story you may have heard in a sermon lately, but to not leave out those who may not have heard it. Our chalice itself has a wartime origin. It originated in World War II when the Unitarian Service Committee assisted people in escaping Nazi terror, in part by issuing travel documents to those fleeing, and those documents needed a seal. And that seal was commissioned by a Unitarian minister, Reverend Charles Joy, and was made by a refugee artist, Hans Deutsch. And it was our flaming chalice, a little bit different than what we see today. Actually, the chalice itself was a drinking vessel with a flame coming out of the top. And so I lift that up because there's a beautiful harmony within that original image of the flaming chalice where the vessel actually, we know it is holding water. So it contains water. And then the vessel itself is either made of stone or clay and is earth. And the fire that's in the blank space and the negative space around it, or sorry, the air and the negative space around it is helping the fire to burn. So all four elements, fire of the flame, the earth of the chalice, the water that it holds, or the holy oil that it holds, and the air around it create a four element balanced image of the chalice symbol. And the lamp of the chalice has come to not only originally help people escape from terror, help people flee, and by subversive Unitarians help people reach safety and sanctuary. But it also has come to guide us and be a symbol and be a thing that came into being that we use when we begin our meetings, that we attach words and intentions to, that we say, I will carry this with me in my heart until I come to this community again. So I am so grateful, and I know we all are grateful for this symbol that is our community has brought into being with our intention. And in a moment, we will take time to bless our chalices by kindling the flames of some symbolic chalices there in the sanctuary. You might have already kindled your own chalice flame. I saw if you're there in person, the Zoom chat was filled with a chalice is lit here, a chalice is lit there. So many chalices are lit in different homes of those observing from Zoom right now as well. But first, I want to ask us to meditate on the internal lights and the external lights for just a moment. Um, I'm going to just drop in some questions and then I'll lead us into a deeper layer of meditation and then we'll write down what bubbles up for us. So here's the questions that I'd like to invite us to meditate on. What lights your inner chalice flame? What inspires and ignites you from the inside? And also, what is your lighthouse in the storm, or what are the stars that are guiding you in your life? Where are you, or where are we collectively fixing our gaze, or what is helping us, guiding us to see through the storm? What deserves our attention and commitment, and what will light our way this year? As we all know, we've just entered a new calendar year and a time when many people choose to make resolutions or stake claim to hopes for the year ahead. And so I invite you now to go ahead and close your eyes if that feels good, and we'll just take it to a deeper level. Make yourself a little bit more comfortable in your seat and center yourself inside. Just take a breath and ask yourself, what does my heart long to covenant this year? What does my heart long for? What helps to strengthen that inner flame? Maybe a word or two are bubbling up. Maybe it's an image or an idea. Maybe it's something you'd like to achieve or just a state of being or a person or thing you'd like to support. And after connecting with that inner fire, just opening your awareness to the outside. There's so much going on around us. There's so much competing for our attention. There's so much input. Just of all of the competing stars around us, the lighthouses shining, think about which one matches your inner flame. What are those outer stars? What lighthouses will help guide your heart's desires? What are your personal lighthouses or constellations to guide you? What stars will help you pursue your heart's deepest longings? And once you have an idea of this, maybe an image, a few words come to mind. When you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes and we'll just do a minute or two of writing, just a couple of words down so that you can seal these things outside of yourself and bring them um, bring them into greater awareness and relationship with the paper, and then we're going to actually offer them to the fire to amplify them. So if you have your paper in front of you, either your flash paper in the sanctuary or a piece of paper at home, just take a moment on one side to write what you wrote about that inner flame. And on the other, your deepest heart's desire. And on the other side, name the lights that you've chosen to guide or support you this year. And after you've written those for yourselves in a few moments, we will be feeding our heart's desires and the intentions that we've made to seek what is most supportive to us in a summoning ritual. So I want to contextualize this very briefly before we begin, and we will begin by blessing our chalices, and then we will continue on with our ritual. So sometimes fire is used in rituals as a destructive force, and often, and you ha all have experienced that in the past with the burning bowl, with doing something, using fire in a way that is to destroy. But fire also has been used ritually in my experience in Buddhist monasteries and also dating back to ancient Greece as a way to amplify or send messages to spirit to connect and amplify our wishes. And one very fun way to remember or to connect with is the origin of birthday candles, which began in ancient Greece, and the candles were lit to honor Artemis, the goddess of the moon, another guiding light. And when we blow our wishes into the candle, that smoke was thought to carry our prayers to the gods. This is why we make a wish and blow the candles out. So, in that spirit, we are going to be feeding our wishes to fire today. If you're at home, please don't put regular paper into your chalice because that's probably not going to be a good idea. Maybe you could go have your own ritual of burying your paper or something like that. But if you're there in the sanctuary, we have flash paper that burns very quickly and safely, and we have water and sand there as well to make sure that the fire is safe. So we will be bringing what you've written forward in a little bit to burn in a ritual way. But first, I want to give one small plug and then we'll bless our chalices. So, something you might have been wondering, Reverend Lauren, all of this is great, but this is Stewardship Sunday. What does all of this have to do with stewardship? I'm so glad that you asked. Your stewardship team has chosen such a wonderful theme. I'll say it again, today's commitment, tomorrow's community. And Unitarian Universalism is a covenantal faith. I've asked you to make a covenant with yourself just by doing a little meditation and a little writing assignment just now. And our values and our principles are also a way that we practice covenanting to one another. These are just promises. These are intentions that we set. And in Unlocking the Power of Covenant, the UUA writes, a covenant, a promise can only exist with intention and can only be kept alive with attention. Intention helps it come into being. Attention keeps it alive. Attention, attending to our beloved church community exists in so many ways, and together the prism of these ways shines and we become a beacon, a lighthouse like I said before, the prism of all that we are, of who we are, and of what we give to our community creates that Fresnel light that we shine through. And our money is part of that. Our money and all of the other things that we give to our community, our dollars and our heart donations, everything that keeps the literal lights on, from the hands that turn the light switch and all of those who help to fix things when they get broken, as well as those who are able to contribute financially to support our community. And we do this in a layered collective way, right? And also donating to the minister's discretionary fund so that people in our community who actually need to receive funds can do that too. And that's why I love church communities so much, because we come together and we give what we can, and together we make a whole. The community is like a kaleidoscope. It's like a collective weaving, and we're all invited to pledge our part in the ways that we can. And I hope that those of you who need to reach out and ask for support, or those of you who feel you can dig a little deeper and continue, this community is so generous. Even as your numbers have gone down, your generosity and giving continues to grow and to soar. And I have so much faith and so much heart from that this community continues to do together. So I just am excited for 6 weeks from now when I get to see you in person, when I come in person for Pledge Sunday. Yay. And um, I'm excited for you to have the conversations in the weeks ahead about the love that guides us, that will be guiding your conversations during the drive. So I'm sure you want me to stop talking about this now and do your ritual. So I will. We will begin our fire summoning ceremony with a blessing of the chalices. You will find the words either in your chat or in your order of service. We will be experiencing a call and response, like a responsive reading. Kathy Foldis will read the words, and we will hold up our hands, maybe one hand if you're holding the order of service. And if you're at home over Zoom, hold up your hands towards your computer screen or towards your chalice at home to bless our chalices together.